Okay, so I'm a retail player, and over the past few weeks I've been playing through WoW Classic for the first time, and well, it sure has been a lot of fun. I started playing from the minute WoW Classic Fresh launched on the 21st of November. Starting out as someone who has never touched the game before was somewhat intimidating, because everyone around me moved around like they had done it before, and they most definitely have. And to be honest, it was that feeling that drove me away from Classic in the past, and I really wasn't expecting it to make it past level 10, but little did I know the adventure I was going to go on over the next few weeks. In my mind, I had already experienced everything that Azeroth had to offer from playing retail, and it wouldn't be until I did my first dungeon in Classic that I realized that this is an entirely new journey inside of the world that I already loved. So many places that I hadn't explored because I had just flown right over top of them. In Classic, you really get this sense of community, right from finding people to run a dungeon with, to members of my guild helping me complete quests, to even you guys giving me gifts in-game. I think that now that we are reaching the halfway point in my journey to level 60, it's safe to say that Classic has grown on me. And well, I can only hope that the rest of my time here is just as enjoyable. In case you haven't watched any of my previous videos, then I would like to introduce you to my character, Fartin Sniff. Last time, I farmed relentlessly, over and over again, to get the Blackstone Ring, and my hard work finally paid off because after a total of 3 runs, I managed to get my Blackstone Ring. Today, I want to get ready for the dungeon Blackrock Depths, and maybe even collect 2 of the best pieces of gear for me, the Hand of Justice Trinket and the Savage Gladiator Chain chest piece. But both of the drop rates are super low, and everybody else wants them, so that might be a little bit ambitious, but there's really only one way to find out if I can get them, and that is to actually run the dungeon. Starting off the day, we were in Searing Gorge completing quests, because we were only level 51, and in order to run Blackrock Depths, I would want to wait until around level 54, so we had a little bit of XP to get first. One of the best feelings in WoW is having a loaded quest log and an entire zone spread out in front of you. And well, this seemed to be a pretty contested area, so I joined up with a couple of players since most of the quests here are kill quests. And most of the quests here are taking place along a small strip of land above the cauldron. We had to kill a load of golems and loot an item off them, kill some dark iron dwarves, and kill lava spiders. And of course getting ganked by 2 rogues at the same time who think they are cool. Now fast forward an hour and a half and I finally realize that I can actually go underneath this area into an underground section with a gazillion dark iron dwarfs inside. And fast forward another hour and the real best feeling in WoW comes along, turning in a load of quests. Now although I was leaving behind a couple of quests that I didn't want to do, I decided to find another place to quest. A place I'd never been before, and I went with Ungoro Crater, because nothing could ever go wrong there, right? Walking into Ungoro for the first time in both Classic and Retail, this place looked amazing. I loved everything about it. The unique plants everywhere, the stream going around the zone, the tall trees covering the sky above you. I loved it. Almost immediately after entering the zone, we have an NPC off to the side who offers us a couple of quests, and obviously I picked them up. I then headed up to the back side of Ungoro where the flight point is to pick up like 6 or 7 more quests, and of course to discover the flight point because I very often forget to do that. And I was excited. So many quests to do in such a beautifully crafted zone. First off, I decided to go and do some of the kill quests by killing the Dimetrodons, since that would also allow me to skin them and make a little bit of gold. I then headed down into the insect area and quickly did the thing there, and then went and killed these pterodax thingies, as well as other random things. And everything was going well, and by that I mean I haven't been ganked yet, when I got a message from a member of my guild, Allah, who offered to take me into Blackrock Depths. Not for XP, no, but to farm Hand of Justice for me. I obviously asked how much he charged, and he said free? Now, putting the words free and hand of justice in the same sentence is enough to make any lonely loser shiver in excitement for multiple days, and I'm pretty sure I crossed the Great Sea in record time. The way this would work is I would sit in a corner and play Pokemon on my Nintendo Switch, and Allah would go in and take down the boss. Now, if Hand of Justice didn't drop, then obviously it's his item to take, no questions asked. On run number 1, we got this chest piece. Run number 2 dropped the War Strife leggings. Now, you probably won't believe this, but on run number 3, this happened. Whoa, dude, what? I was fully expecting to be here for a couple hours, at least. 3 runs. Again, 3 runs. I don't know what is up with this 3 runs thing, but hey, I ain't complaining, just keep it coming. Now, that wasn't really part of the plan, but that marks one of the 2 desired items achieved. And now all I had to do was to get extremely lucky and get the Savage Gladiator chain. If I get SGC, I might actually freak out. Now, getting Hand of Justice early is pretty cool and all, but I wouldn't be able to equip it yet since it required level 53, which only made me want to hurry it up and get to level 53 as quick as I possibly could. So instead of going back to Ungoro Crater and finishing the quests there, I decided to go somewhere else, another new place, and I went with Felwood. And I may have forgotten to hit record, but we started in a cave killing warpwood moss flayers to pick up blood ambers, which I think have a 100% drop rate unless I just got insanely lucky. And we got that done pretty quickly, even though I did have some competition from a level 60 warlock, but he was pretty cool and left me alone. Mostly. After that, I headed further into Felwood to kill a load of what I think are bear things that stand on their hind legs, but I really don't know. I continued on questing in the zone, killing elementals, killing the Jade Fire boys, and then back to killing weird bear things. It was all pretty standard World of Warcraft stuff, and I was here for a good 4-ish hours. I did so many quests here, in fact, that the game tried to push me out of Felwood and into Winterspring, which I decided was just too high of a level for me to enter just yet. And Felwood became one of the first zones that I actually completed every single quest available. Now, that's where my problems started after that. You see, I seem to have a real habit of going to zones and only completing the quest that I wanted to complete, and that would leave the zone with just a couple of quests to do, and it would also mean I was leaving the zone with less XP than I should. And I've done this with so many different zones that I literally had nowhere else I could quest. I could go to the Plaguelands, but that was still a bit too high of a level for me. So really, I had only one option, and I had to go back and complete the quests that I didn't want to complete before. So I went back to Ungoro Crater and did the 2 or 3 quests there. I went back to Winterspring to try and do some stuff there, but gave up almost immediately. I went back to Searing Gorge for about an hour before I gave up. The point is, I learned my lesson not to do that in future characters. And after running around random zones for 11 hours, yes, not joking, 11 hours, I finally hit level 54, which means it was time for Blackrock Depths. So I found myself a group to run the dungeon with, and I'm not tanking this time because this is actually the first dungeon that I'm completely unfamiliar with. I have never ran this dungeon before, even in retail, so I was pretty excited to see what all the hype was about. Now, my first run, I decided to go with a group that was doing a full run of the dungeon. I know that there were quite a lot of different types of runs for this place, but I wanted to experience the whole thing at least once. First thing I noticed is that this dungeon has quite a lot of skinnable mobs in it, so that's a plus because I can make a little bit of gold along the way. Coming up to our first boss was High Interrogator Gerstan, and this one was actually quite fun since she comes with a big pack of mobs. Loot wise, she only dropped this offhand thingy. As we continued through the dungeon, we got to the second boss, Houndmaster Grebmar, and once again my eyes light up at the sight of dead skinnable mobs because I have to skin everything I see, otherwise something bad will happen. And he ended up dropping us a pair of mail boots. Next, we made our way round to Arena, and I didn't actually know at the time that this is where SGC comes from, but big surprise, it didn't drop on the very first run. We then made our way over to Anger, and it was going well for a while, but we did end up dying, but we respawned and then never went back to him. Instead, we went around to Pyromancer Loregrain, who dropped a wand and the fiery enchant recipe. We then went and killed Phineas Darkfire, who gave us a pair of pants, and lastly, we went and killed Lord Incendius, who dropped a wrist piece. So, first run, I would say that this is a very ideal dungeon. We get a very good chunk of XP, and there's plenty of room for gear upgrades. Oh, I sure hope a rogue doesn't pop out of nowhere. It's too predictable. What? So of course I didn't do just one run. On the second arena clear, yeah, obviously we didn't get it. That would be way too soon. Once again, we never went in the direction of Anger, but this time we went to this little isolated room where you have to open up a load of coffers. And when you open up the last one, all of the golems pop out and it turns into this big boss fight, which I thought was pretty cool. And the rest of this run was basically the same with no gear upgrades. I ended up spending the night doing quite a few of these BRD runs. Everything was pretty normal, although I did at some point switch to doing only Arena, Anger, and Golem runs. However, on the 4th or 5th run, something very interesting happened. Something I never thought that I would see. Oh! 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 Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh! Oh my, oh god! Okay. 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 Come on. Come on. Holy shit, come on. No! 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 Oh no. That was my one chance. I'm never gonna see that again. I am never gonna see that ever again. Jesus, with that reaction, you would have thought someone had just shot me. Anyway, we made our way over to Anger, and my god, Hand of Justice dropped. That is the golden run of BRD. Depressed, sad, annoyed, all because I didn't get the pixels I wanted. I decided that that was the last run of BRD for me. Hope you all enjoyed today's video because I enjoyed making it. I always do. Next video should be a absolute banger because we're doing something very special. Because since we're getting close to level 60, I'm going to do a 24-hour marathon. Play the game for 24 hours straight and see if we can hit level 60 or not in that time frame, 24 hours. So it should be a very good video. It should be a pretty long one as well. But anyway, enough yapping. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And I will see you all later.